You all need to play this game. Seriously, our team found the best graphic new game with a different gameplay and super good visual. So I'm pretty sure you all will enjoy this video, but before you start watching, can you help this video get 100 likes please? Please enjoy the video off. Top 10 Best New Games on Mobile 2025. High Graphic New Games Android and iOS 2025. Ray Memento White Shadow. This is a new game with an open world concept. The first impression I see is about a game that's got an idea by a Honkai Star Rail, especially by the gameplay and how the mechanism looks. It's a single player base where we can explore the huge world by selecting 3 different allies. The turn-based system is how the battle is. Each of the hero's skill will consume some mana point that will be divided into 3 stages. The MP will recover on each turn. Once you see the hero unleashing the ultimate skill, then you will see how good the animation visual is. If you love a story-driven game, then you should play it, because the player has an option to pick a different answer in dialogue to create a different plot twist. So you will have a freedom to answer a various answer and see how the dialogue will become. In the open world, the weather will be changed into a morning, day and night. What a great attention to detail. Riding your mount to explore the area will foster your exploration. Anyway, this role-playing game has a manual gameplay, which means no auto-play game RPG. Project A Melee Battle Royale. This game is pretty unique, the developer combining 2 different games genres at once, the Battle Royale and also hack and slash game action. Even they made a very unique visual, which they made an anime in Battle Royale mode. So the developer are aiming for a competitive gameplay where the players should become the last man standing. The gameplay is really simple. We need to find out the treasure chest to obtain an EXP and also kill the monster to raise your power. Unfortunately, the game is in development right now and honestly, all of the enemies is not a real player at all, but they seem like a bot. The enemy is not actively moving and attacking, but overall, I love the idea and how cool the character design is. Before we start the combat, we can select a different heroes with their own primary weapons such as a great sword, bow, and staff. Just a little note, if you wanted to play the game now, then you might see the glitch. So I recommend you to stay and wait for it to release globally. Moco Co. I never expected the company who's making a Clash of Clans will make a game in a different games genre. It's quite competitive because we will play in a real time with the other players. Sometimes it's quite frustrating because the enemy's level is way too high. Most of the time, they will be approaching through an ambush attack, so we really need to stick together with the other allies to be ready to gang the enemy. I love how the mechanism works, where the hero can move while attacking, which make the player have a better option to avoid any incoming attack from a blind spot. But anyway, the camera perspective will help you a lot through a bird angle or a top-down view perspective. Try to play in a different mode to get an extra reward like a dungeon mode. Reach the higher score and put yourself on the World League rank. Surprisingly, Moco Co has downloaded over 1 million players. This number is very good as a new game in 2025. Dead Rails Resident. This is a new game open world and playable offline, and it's totally free to play and you don't need to pay any single penny to get such a great visual offline game. It has 3D graphic on character design and all of the ambience will have a realistic visual. The reflections of the shadow and how details they made the moon glare will perfectly blend with a dark fantasy theme base. Basically, the game will set in a dark fantasy theme where we should survive by killing the monster around us. We can attack the enemy with a shovel in a close range combat. The action is pretty limited. We are only able to do 3 main actions, which are attacking with a basic attack, jumping and also running. The main objective is pretty clear and I'm sure you won't get lost, because the developer have prepared the main objective hint to let the player know the location of a certain mission. So we only need to follow the yellow dot to reach the destination area. Most of the mission is only eliminating the enemy or collecting some material. Even the graphic looks so good, but the game size is very small. It's about less than 200 MB. I'm sure none of you will believe it. Crystal of Atlan Global. Finally, this game is coming up on global and I'm totally impressed with the gameplay and how well the developer try on making the game become compatible on any device's level, as long as you pick the right setting to adjust the graphic based on your phone performance. This is a new game ARPG where the player needs a lot of skill to analyze the combat situation. The main hero will have a lot of skill that will be available to unleash on the earlier game. Dash button is the most crucial action we should learn because the number of the enemies respawn is quite a lot. Combining a different action of jumping and attacking would be the best way to grapple the enemy into the air. Anyway, it's kind of a multiplayer base, but we are only able to see the other players while we are at a village, but the rest we should play solo to clear the mission in the dungeon. Once you reach a certain level, then you will have to select a different class to do a promotion and boost your strength significantly. Only one day is enough to reach 500,000 players to download it, and the score is quite high, which is 4.8 stars. Garena Free City. I think Garena is one of the most consistent companies I have ever seen. His game always come with a great gameplay in the multiplayer base, and I realize most of the Garena multiplayer games always have a stable graphic and steady ping, which all players will have a great gaming experience through it. This new game is kind of an open world games vibes, and surely the developer get an inspiration from a GTA, with a lot of freedom activity we can do to kill our time while playing it. I'm sure you will be satisfied with the mechanism, so we can make a chaos by killing the NPC by shooting or hit them by driving a car. The number of police will increase multiple times once you keep making a chaos, and you won't be standing against them in a larger number. But don't worry, because we can drive our vehicle to escape. It's not about a sandbox game base only, because the goal is to clear the main mission with a variety of objective missions we should clear. Every single mission will have a cutscenes to represent the actual storyline. Titanite Mobile. This is the fourth time the developer announced for the beta testing, and I'm so impressed with the graphic and how the game gets more optimization than the last version. I'm so happy finally the developer takes seriously on updating the project, and as a player we can easily see the progress. This is a new survival game where the sci-fi and robotic will combining to create a perfect game with an open world concept that allows the player to find out the resources much easier. The material is really crucial to build up your own base and as the first reason to craft the equipment and tools. It's a single player game with no autoplay at all. The player will focus on improving their skill of survival by learning and collecting the material step by step. The game's combat mechanism is a shooter base, but also we can create a melee weapon, flying into the air by using a jetpack. Reaching a further destination and shooting the target from the sky is possible, but the jetpack needs a fuel. Game of Thrones King's Road. One of the most fair and balanced game on mobile. There is no gacha need to raise your power, which means the tactical strategy and how you learn the combat mechanism is the main point to win the game. There is two actions that will be so crucial, which are rolling to evade the incoming attack and also blocking to defend from the attack. But once the enemy launches the heavy damage, then we can't block it because it will go straight into your body. So we really need to understand the pattern, and how we anticipate the enemy's movement is really important. The game is launched for mobile and PC, but I didn't find the difference on those platforms. I'm so impressed with how the developer optimized his game on mobile, and it's totally amazing. If you love to play a hardcore game with a nice medieval vibes, then I would suggest you to try it. The music and the atmosphere is really soothing. It's pretty rare to see an adventure game nowadays, especially come with a manual play and 100% no autoplay action RPG games on mobile. Drift Racing 3v3. Seriously, I never noticed about it, but after I check it, the game is just released on mobile platform. It just feels like a truly hidden gem. Racing games are getting forgotten nowadays. Not many developers try to make this genre, so it will be so difficult to find the new one. Drift Racing 3v3 may be one of the best options for you to play right now, because the game has released globally and has an English version already. With a realistic graphic and vivid visual, it will make you stay longer on the screen. The main gameplay is a racing game where we only have a race between three real players in a real time. That's why the level is pretty competitive and you can't beat them all easily. Always keep an eye to make a great move and build up the gauge method to launch a nitro action. The nitro will significantly increase your top speed, but we need to adjust the acceleration when it bends. Upgrade and modify your car style with so many models. Destiny Rising. I'm sick waiting for this game to come global. I really love how the game's concept is super interesting, where the main hero will hold two main weapons of the melee weapon like a sword and also the long range weapon of a gun. Both of the weapons will have their own advantage and disadvantage. It depends on your playstyle. The sword will deal a bigger damage but need to come closer. Besides, the gun will be easier to lock the target and have a faster fire speed but less damage. The newest version shows us the quality is beyond the other mobile game. No wonder it's made for a cross-platform games. The main gameplay is set in a futuristic and apocalypse world that combines at once. I realize how technology looks developing insanely and massively. If you wonder if it's just a single player game, then you are totally wrong. Once you arrive at the plaza, then the other players can be seen and we can send a message to open the conversation. Bonus, Charge and Crown. I really love to play this game. It's absolutely wonderful having a nice and beautiful graphic that have an empire war base. As I said before, we'll play a strategy base where we should build up the kingdom to strengthen the hero's strength by replacing and upgrading the troops behind the main character. In combat, we should eliminate all of the enemy, giving a signal to force or rush as possible to make a perfect result. These all are the best new game on mobile in 2025. I wish you give full support to this channel by tapping a like button. Feel free to subscribe to get more updates. Remember to like this video and see you on the next list. Thanks!